Hello
Okay.
again, everybody. I'm back along with Cheryl Mears, and
Yes.
we were recording, and I had said that this is the Cheryl show. And since she's in IT, she decided to take over the show, and now she's running the show. We got knocked off as she was like, just like doing whatever she does on that end to take over the show. So there was a little coup d'etat that was going on for Destination Health, but we stopped that. But we're back anyway. So Cheryl, if you want to be a co-host, all you got to do is say, "Listen, I'm the
Hey, I'm
co-host."
sorry. I'm just one of those demanding women. I just go after what I want.
You just go
Yeah.
after what you
Just
want,
go
and that's
after it.
that.
Yeah.
So what we were talking about is you were talking about hospital food. You were talking about the
Yes.
greasy bacon, the greasy eggs, and
Oh
you
yeah.
were talking about how you were taking it slow so that you didn't so that you weren't eating a lot during the recovery time. That's where we were, Cheryl, before you tried to take over. So
Oh, sorry about that.
Cheryl, you
Yeah.
can pick up now. We are here
All
on the
right.
Cheryl Mears
Well, let
show,
me pick up
everybody.
again.
Go
So,
ahead.
basically, like you were saying, yes, I was eating slowly because I knew that if I ate too much, my system could back up or anything could damage me. But I always believed
Right.
in eating good because I know the outcome, kind of thing. I think I mentioned before, it's like you can eat good like Monday through Friday, but if you eat
Right.
fast food on the weekend, obviously, that's not going to be good. So I really believe in that philosophy. So when anybody says to me, I'm trying to lose a few pounds or get healthier, it's really, you've got to believe in the
Right.
process that you're doing.
Right. You were
And I
saying
can't
on how the
stress enough.
process, you got to trust the
Yes.
process. You're not going to get back right away. It's always a process to do this.
Oh, it always is a process. And some people, they get so fixated, like I have to look like X. And they look at other people and I have to look like that. And if I don't look like that, I
Right.
must be doing something wrong. So I'm going to give up. But the reality is we're all individual. We're all beautiful. We have our own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
So I don't really want to look like somebody else. I want to look like me. I just want to look maybe a little bit better or whatever. And really just focus on yourself. To me, admire the beauty of others, but really admire the beauty of yourself too. Don't discount that. And I think that happens a lot in our like weight loss or muscle building journeys. We get lost in other people and we really got to realize we're really special,
Right.
and we don't give ourselves enough credit for it.
I love that. I really do love that you're saying that you're special in addition to, and you are, with everything you've been through and everything that you're doing now to help individuals out. And I do have patients that have a tendency to compare themselves to everybody, no matter what level, whether it's a transformation, they want to lose a couple of pounds, or they're athletes. There is a tendency to compare, but don't compare. Realize your own beauty, realize your own inner strength. You can draw upon those other people to motivate you, because really, you're very generous in your discussing and talking and wanting to help people out. And so you can just call, and I'm sure, you'll be able to sit there and say, listen, this is what's worked for me. See if it works for you, but keep an open mind so that you figure out what's for you.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, 100%. So the near fatal accident, now you're coming back.
Yes.
You're getting stronger. And what was your mindset then? Were you in a weakened state? Did you begin to question yourself a little bit, or you were just all hands on deck?
Honestly, I was all hands on while I was in the hospital, all hands on.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge that I had in the hospital was walking.
Yes.
The policy in the hospital was a nurse had to be with you when you walked, 100%. But guess what? They weren't available. So I would lay down for days not getting up. No one would walk me. I know it sounds like a dog, you know, I need to go for a walk, but that was it. And then the doctor would come in and go, so how much did you walk? And I go, I haven't walked at all. And then he'd get mad and go to the nurse, and we played a lot of that. And it was so frustrating because I knew that if I started to walk, I'm gonna get better. So eventually, I think I was in the hospital like almost 2 months. And I slowly got better. I was able to sit up on my own by the end, and I was able to walk with assistance, very slowly, but I was able to do it. And again, I looked at all of these as challenges because I knew that I had to eat better. I had to start walking, and then from walking to running, the typical thing, to get better. So when I came home, it took about a week for me to get acclimated to the house. I couldn't sleep in my bed. I had to sleep on the couch because the bed was a little bit too high,
Mhm.
and things like that. And I couldn't walk around the house by myself. My daughter had to,
Right.
take me to the bathroom and stuff like that. So I don't know how long ago after was, but I started using the walker, and
Mhm.
I started to walk outside. So I walked through the front door with her, maybe a block or two, and that was it. And if I did it now, I would just laugh. It's like I can't believe walking that distance was
Right.
such a bear,
Struggle,
but
struggle.
it was.
Yeah.
But the biggest time was about maybe a half a mile up the road is a lake that, or I'm sorry, a pond that I always take my dogs to when I walk them every day. And I remember, see, the thing is I wasn't thinking about what I couldn't do. I just kept going on, and I just kept saying I had to go. I had to move. So I remember one day I wanted to walk, and my daughter was sleeping. And I just didn't want to wake her. So I said, Cheryl, you're doing this on your own. So I got the walker, and I started walking a few steps and a few steps. And then all of a sudden I realized I made it to the pond by myself. And I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. And then I had to take a break and relax.
Mhm.
And then I was able to walk back. And that was like a milestone for me, because I'm like, I'm
Right.
gonna do this. And then again, I was able to walk, and then I got better. But as I was getting stronger and better, during that time, I wasn't focused on my damaged body, because now you have to realize I went from such a great physique to skin and bones, and now I've got an ostomy on my stomach for life. That is not going away. Some people can go, I don't want to deal with whatever today. I'm just going to let it go. This is 24/7. I could never, ever stop facing my
This is,
reality.
yeah, this
This
is
is in
something
your
that's there
face,
forever, right
you
now.
know. So I remember when it kind of hit me. Of course, I'm changing it every day, because you got to do it every couple of hours and stuff. So, I mean, I knew it was there, but I wasn't really focused. And I remember at one point, in my bathroom, I'm naked, and I've got this bag on me, and it was one of the hardest struggles, because I had to tell myself I was still beautiful. I was still capable. I can't stop this fight. But it was that moment. It was like, it really hit me like, Cheryl, um, reality of you dying is
Yeah.
over. You've got to live your life now. And this is the reality. Well, how are you going to handle it? And it was very tough.
Yeah.
And my coach at the time, I texted her and I said, listen, it's time to start. And I didn't mean it was time to start prepping for a show. It had nothing to do with that.
Right. It's
It
time
was
to get back. It's time to get back.
it's time to get back. And so I sent my progress pics, and I've posted those since then. Um, and I knew when I sent my progress pics, she wasn't gonna like reply back and go, great job, you look awesome. I mean, I didn't expect anything, but I knew, everybody, I have to tell you this, I knew at some point
Right.
this was a pivotal turning point for me to get better, even though that was the most uncomfortable thing. Because what happened was, that morning I said, I'm going to do my picks, because you always do them first thing in the morning fasted.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Sure.
I tried, and I was too weak. So the whole day I have my posing suit on, right? So I'm too weak. I go to the couch, I eat, I fall asleep, I try it again. I kept crying all day. I think about 3 o'clock is when I finally sent them. And I messaged her, I said, listen, I took the pics and all that. And she goes, just don't look at them. And I thought it was funny because it's like, you got to look at them and send them, but I understand where she was going with it. She just didn't want me to really focus on it. And it was devastating to see my body in such a bad condition. And I'll admit, I got sad, I
I'm
cried.
looking at the pictures right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
And you in the hospital, in the bed with in the hospital with a walker.
yeah.
We're finally able to stand, and then you have this Publix cart that you're in. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really
Yeah.
it's really a testament to who you are and where you are today from where you've come from with this. I mean, you look incredible right now in comparison to what you've been through. Let me
And
tell you something, hell has nothing on you. I can tell you that. So
that's so true.
yeah,
And my mindset is, you just keep fighting and you keep going. And I'll admit there's times where I fight too much and people around me are like, I got to get away from her because she just won't stop. And I do have to control that at times. And I do realize that, but it's
that's
part
who
of
you are,
me.
Cheryl. That's who you are. Don't ever stop that.
And exactly. And that's what keeps me going. So after those check-ins, I started to feel better. I'm like, okay, I got over that horror, that
Right.
reality of, okay, this is me now. But I knew that wasn't going to remain me.
Right.
I had to learn to love myself for the new me, what I could be, kind of thing. Because if I didn't do that at that time, I'll tell you, I don't know where I'd be. I definitely wouldn't be here talking to you today. I'm not saying I would have died, but I probably would have been a shell of a person, probably crying, not getting out, really an introvert. And that's
Yeah.
not my personality. So that was a pivotal moment that I did. And again, sometimes you got to do stuff that's really uncomfortable that you don't want to do, but trust the process because you're going to get better. You got to go through this. So every week I would send her progress pics. Now I wasn't working out. I was just trying to eat a little bit better. And so I kept sending the pics and kept sending the pics. And what happened over time is I got stronger. I started to eat a regimented food plan. And then eventually I was able to go to the gym. Now, when I first went to the gym, it was quite funny because I couldn't really lift anything heavy. And I remember talking to one of the ladies at the gym. I wanted to squat with a barbell, and I knew I could do that. It was going to be tough, but I knew I could do that. But the thing is I had to lift it up out of the thing, and twisting at that time wasn't going to be good for me. But I could do this. So I had to go over there and go, could you get me that barbell? And I felt so stupid, but I said to myself, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to, stop continuing. So she was nice. She came over, put it on my back. She stayed with me. And I did a little bit. I made sure like I wasn't in pain or anything, but just getting the wheels going and feeling it out. Because in ostomy, for those that don't know, your intestines are out of your stomach.
Right. There's an opening. Right.
There's an opening. Your intestines are part of them are there. So how do you lift heavy without damaging that? And
how did you lift heavy without damaging? That's a great question.
That's what I'm doing, but I had to figure that on my own because my doctor told me, he goes, I don't want you lifting heavier than 10 pounds. But he goes, I know you're going to do it. And he goes, I am going to be here for you. He said, he wasn't one of those doctors that said, oh, you'll never do this. He just said, this is my medical opinion. But he goes, I know you. And I will be here for you and I will support you in whatever you do. And I love that man for that. Yeah. So I slowly kept doing that. Now, what started to happen, okay, if you take a look back, okay, I go through the tragedy, my body is damaged. I take my first progress pic and it's really awful, okay? And I could have stopped then, but I kept going, these little things. All of a sudden, a few months later, I'm getting stronger. And my progress pics are changing. And as they're changing, my mindset's changing too. I'm a badass. I got an ileostomy. I
You
love
are.
myself. I have no problem having pictures with it or whatever. I'll show it off. I'm all good with that. But I started, and it was subconsciously at the time, but I started changing from recovery, from being a victim a little bit, you know, because you always have a little bit of that in you.
Right, right,
to, I'm an athlete, and there's reality that I'm going to compete one day.
right.
And that was so beautiful. Now, I can't tell you exactly when that happened, but I remember doing a lot of posts saying, I'm recovery, I'm recovery, I'm recovery.
Right.
And then one day I went to do a post and I'm like, how can I say I'm recovering? Look at myself. And it was just a beautiful feeling to
Yeah.
know that I friggin' did this and I made it. But again, you have to look at your mindset, because back then, if I had not done all of those things, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that's so important. And that's what I want to keep sharing with people, because it's so important not to give up. When they say the phrase never give up, look at my face, look at my story. That's the definition of never giving up.
Yeah, that's definitely. So what are your challenges today? What do you go through day to
Um,
day?
my challenges are really dealing with the ileostomy,
Mhm,
because it's basically a bag on your abs at all times,
mhm,
and it's plastic, so it will leak at times. So you always have to be careful of that.
mhm.
You every after I eat, I start going to the bathroom within 10 minutes. So
Mhm.
which means my bag fills up slowly. And probably within 20, 30 minutes, I have to go to the bathroom and empty it out, you know, kind of thing. So my challenge is always absorption too,
Right.
because the quicker your foods come out, the less that you're absorbing.
Have you changed your diet at all because of this?
Honestly, surprisingly, no, very little. Because I always ate well, you know,
Mhm.
chicken and rice and fish and all that. Even cheat meals, I would not do tacos and all those kind of things, because I knew that at my age, you know, staying healthier, even without an ostomy, is a challenge. We all know that. So
Well,
we have to
you're
eat.
only 21 years old, Cheryl. So,
I'm 22. Yeah, I'm
all
just
right.
22.
Okay.
But you know, it does make it a challenge. So with the ostomy now, I have to be extra careful. So everything that goes in my body, I look at it as fuel. And if it's not good, I'm not going to eat it, because I only have a short window for that absorption to get in. So if I decide, let's say, for one meal to eat tacos, well, there's really no nutritional value on that. What's going to happen is my body's going to start to deteriorate, and we don't want that. And the number one thing that has helped me through all of this, and I believe that kind of saved my life, is my muscle mass. Because the more muscle mass that you have, the
Yes.
healthier your body's going to be. And a lot of people don't realize that.
100%. Yes.
And even the doctor, and that's right, I didn't have a chance to say this, but after I moved out of ICU, I went to a surgical ward. And I don't know how they do all these things in the hospital from different wards or whatever. So I'm in the surgical ward,
Right.
and one of the doctors comes in, and he literally looks at me, he smiles and says, I can't believe you lived. And I'm looking at him like really strange, you know, it's like a weird thing to say. And he just went on and on to say, we are so inspired by you. He went, my daughter and my mom told him so many stories about my bodybuilding and what I do and what I eat. And he took that into consideration and said that had to have saved your life. All your muscle mass, the way you eat. He goes, because the condition, or I'm sorry, not the condition, but the situation I went through with the intestinal twist,
Mhm.
statistically only 2% get it. So it's very rare how bad I got my intestinal twist. And he goes, normally it's fatal.
Mhm.
And he goes, you lived. He goes, we didn't expect you to live. So that's why he goes, your lifestyle really saved your life. And that was so amazing. And I had so many people come in and talk to me about it, because they were still shocked. So many doctors and nurses,
It's
um,
amazing.
they were just so inspired that I was laying there and I was still living and I was developing and
Right.
so forth. So that was so back to challenges. Yeah, so it's nutrition, making sure you get that, staying hydrated, because most people don't realize this, but without a colon, you dehydrate quicker because
Yes, you
your
do.
colon is like a trash compactor. Yes, we all know what it does, but what a lot of people don't know is any fluids that are in the stool when it goes into the colon gets pushed back into your body. It's like a rehydration system. A lot of people don't think about that. I don't have one of those. Okay. So my body has to adapt. So dehydration is very common. And then again, with the back itself, the most common things that I have right now are a lot of itching because sometimes it can get on the skin and you don't see it and it itches and it's a little bothersome. And then from a bodybuilding standpoint, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without getting a lot of gross detail, but we all know that if we squat heavy, sometimes we pass gas, right? It's reality. Well,
Is a physiological response.
it is.
That's all we have
However,
to say.
but I don't have that connection anymore. Okay. My butt, well, literally my butt's not gone, but I can, all right, a funny fact. All right. I can never fart again. Okay. That's never going to happen with an ostomy because it goes out the stomach. So when I squat and any pressure is going through the abdomen, so I have to be careful that my intestines don't push out through my abs whenever I lift something heavy. And you're probably thinking, how the hell do you do that?
Be careful there, Cheryl. Yeah.
Yeah, one is your mind. I mean, a lot of people go, oh, you use a weight belt and you make sure. A weight belt does nothing for me. Okay. I have to make sure I have such proper form. And the other thing that I do is I wear like this mesh belt, and everyone sees it in my post, and it helps keep everything tight and keep that in. And then I started doing something else. I've been using a knee wrap to wrap around my abs. So basically, you're just trying to hold it in while the pressure is going.
Right.
Those are the basic challenges that I have. But everything else, no, I actually feel good. I feel great about my body. I have 5 abs. I'm happy about that.
You
Just
got a
saying,
5-pack.
big deal.
I
still
told
have a
you earlier
5-pack.
today, I got, I don't know,
What,
maybe
2?
if that, I don't know. You
Yeah.
gotta look really close. Oh, there, I can see the outline up there, but
I'm
that's
seeing it right there. Yeah.
that's after I draw it in a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
So
and challenges. I'm sorry. Just to
go
add
ahead.
one more thing.
Go ahead.
With an ileostomy, you've got to change it like almost every other day, which you normally do in the morning because in the morning you don't have any food in you.
Right.
Because an ostomy is like a slow faucet leak. It is always going when you're eating. And as a bodybuilder, I'm eating 6 times a day. So it's drip, 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 drip. So in the morning, there's nothing there and you can change it. But if it's dripping, just figure out the challenges. But the other thing is the added expense. It's around $200 to $300 a month just for supplies. Wow. So you do have that additional expense.
You have another car payment going on. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what it is. So those are the biggest challenges. But like I said, so many things have come out of this journey that I didn't expect. I expected to get better and to get on stage, but I didn't expect all the good things like this podcast. Other people are talking to me, being an inspiration. It really opened my eyes to my whole life.
You have no idea what I have in mind for a podcast again. So I've got so many ideas. And we're going to motivate.
I think we could go through a lot of different things. And this month is Cancer Awareness Month, for breast cancer. And I am a survivor of 4.5 years. So there's a whole other topic because that's a whole other story that I went through on that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to stop here. Okay. And we're going to pick this up again, by the way, just in case you didn't know that. So
I didn't know that, but I love it.
I know your game. So this is actually part 3. We had a technical difficulty. This is now part 3.
So now we're going to go 4 next time.
Now we're going 4 next time. So it'll be part 4. And I think we're going to do a live. So we're going to
Ooh,
discuss
that would
that.
be great. I love doing lives. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
And I
So,
love when
so,
people come in and they change the dynamics of
and we're
everything.
going to, yeah,
It's
everything,
awesome.
we're going to have people ask questions and so forth.
Yeah, I
So,
would love that.
yes, Cheryl, thank you very much for saying yes to coming on to our podcast. Thank you very much for being who you are. Thank you very much for becoming a friend and beginning of a friendship. So I'm looking forward
Definitely.
to everything that we can do to help motivate, educate, and inspire. So I want to thank you for coming on. You have a show coming up in 6 weeks, and we're going to be talking about that the next time. We'll talk
Yes.
about what happened after the show. We'll have you on again. So
Mhm.
this is something that we're very excited about because growing up in northern New Jersey, just like you did,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
we really don't take no for an answer in a good
Mhm.
way, and nothing holds us down, to say the least. So I am inspired by you, and I appreciate you. So I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you very much for coming on, and it's been a pleasure. And we're gonna set up another one as soon as this is done. So we're gonna be all good.
Sounds
So
great.
absolutely. So want to thank everybody for listening. Stay tuned for part 4 coming up in the next
Yes,
week,
part
week and
four.
a half, 2 weeks, and we're going to rock
Mhm.
and roll. So, Cheryl, thank you very much for being on. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you again. Remember, live your best life. Thank you very much. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.